Now, working in real estate is exciting, and most people think being a realtor is all about just transactions, helping people buy and sell homes and land. But you know, as a realtor, that it's more than that. It's about people, helping people. And you have a unique opportunity every day to be a part of a person's story. And with that comes challenges. And you've done an excellent job in your service. And that's part of the reason why you're here today. But let's go back to those challenges. Sometimes they are epic, and a realtor will go beyond the call of duty and become a hero.
We're so fortunate in the real estate business that we're one of the big three, food, shelter, and clothing. And so when a customer blesses us with welcoming us into their lives and into part of the home buying process, we really see the inside of their world. It's far more, as we say in our marketing department, than 4 walls and a roof, right? We're really helping them make a lifestyle choice. We're there in the happy moments. Often we're part of the process when new babies come into the world or when kids go off to college. We're also often there during the difficult times in life, times when it may be very hard for a seller to leave a lifelong home. And that was certainly the case in this particular instance.
In this quiet North Asheville neighborhood, Ron and Rosalind made a life for themselves for over 35 years, filling their home with happy memories. But when Rosalind passed away, Ron called on Beverly-Hanks to help during this challenging transition.
Well, the first time I met Ron, I went to see him, and he let me know that he wanted to sell his house quick and be in Florida as soon as possible. His wife had recently passed. They'd been in that house for 35 years together, and he was sad and lonely, and I felt bad for him. And I knew he didn't have anyone to help him, and I knew that I could. So I told him I would take care of him. Ron's plan was to list his house and be gone in 30 to 60 days. And we ended up getting it under contract in 2 days.
And as we know, in this business, getting under contract is often just the beginning.
My wife and I lived in that house for 35 years. You live in a house for 35 years, you accumulate a lot of stuff. And it was just too much for me to handle on my own.
So it was 35 years of stuff and a life lived well. And I mean, even canned goods and boxes of old letters that he wrote his wife in the service. Like, there was a lot in that house, and a lot of special things and a lot of things he just didn't want anymore. I pretty much knew that I needed help, and I knew the person to call, and that was Jenny to the rescue. She's an organizer, mover. She does a lot, and she's amazing.
So Dayna called, and she said, I've sold this house, and we're under tough time constraints because it needs to be cleaned out. It was a very quick closing, so we only had a couple of weeks to get the job done. On the day that we were scheduled to be there, we got there bright and early. Our dumpster was on site, and I knew that I would have a lot of questions for Ron to complete the process and check in with him about some things. And to my surprise, I couldn't believe Dayna was there.
They were filling this dumpster, and I looked in the attic. He said I needed to check the attic because there was a lot to come out of there. Had no idea just how much, but it was full of boxes, probably every box from every appliance they ever purchased. It was just so much stuff, just so much stuff. A life's worth of stuff.
I turned around and there was Dayna loading stuff into the dumpster with us. And I said, Dayna, girl, you need some gloves? We have an extra pair. I was just very surprised because it's not something you see every day to have the realtor on site cleaning out the house with you. When we are with clients that have lived in a home for a very long time, it's hard to say goodbye. It's a different chapter. It's a closing of one part of their life and a beginning of a new. And with Dayna there by his side, I think that it really changed the situation. It gave support and clarity and just a kind of cheering him on.
He also needed, me to make his flight arrangements because he didn't have a computer and he didn't have internet. So I booked his flights for him to Fort Lauderdale, and then I picked him up on the day that they were leaving at 5:30. Took him to the airport with his last few bags.
When the time came that we were to leave, we were going to fly down to Fort Lauderdale. She said, what time are you leaving? I said, our plane leaves at 5 o'clock in the morning. She says, I'll pick you up and take you down to the airport. Which she did. I mean, how many realtors would go at 5 o'clock in the morning? Realtors don't do that.
It was really early in the morning, and he was tired and he was ready, but it was sweet. He and his live-in nurse were very sweet. Gave him both big hugs and have talked to them since they got there, and we keep in touch. It was an honor for me to be able to help Ron at that point in his life, and after all that he'd been through with his wife. And he wanted to enjoy the last days of his life in Florida, and I was very blessed and honored to be able to help him.
As a realtor, it's not about closing the deal. It's how we become part of the story. And as time goes on, your clients will forget the details. They'll forget how long closing was and what was the down payment. And let's be honest, if they move away, they might even forget your name. But one thing they will not forget is how you made them feel. Now to Ron, Dayna isn't just his realtor. She is much more.
I think she's become more of a friend than a realtor, because a realtor was her job, but she did her job well and took an interest as a family friend. Whoever she does business with as a realtor, they'll be very lucky to have her. I like her as a friend.
I'm really excited that this story is being told tonight, because I think it's just one example of marvelous, inspirational things that I hear week in and week out of how our agents demonstrate heart and go the extra mile to help every buyer and seller have a smooth and seamless real estate transaction. That's why our agents are able to form lasting relationships rather than just deal in transaction management. It's because it is different here. Our agents are different here.